Welcome back.
Hey, Stanley,
Yeah, George?
how'd you like your own TV show?
Hey, I got something to mail you out.
Oh, you be careful now, you hear? Before you go and say something you're going to regret for the rest of your days.
Like what? Like the wrong kid, Dad?
Oh, no!
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of The Wrong Podcast Died. I'm Ken, here with my co-host, Ken. Hi, Ken.
Hey, everybody, but I want to be Alan.
Oh, you want to be Alan? Okay, you can be Alan.
Because he's good at karate.
Yeah, he kicks some ass.
That's right.
And he's related to the Backstreet Boys? Is that the way I understood it?
I have no clue.
Do you remember that part where he was kicking ass and he's like, they're all Allens?
Yeah.
Even that one. Or was it NSYNC? I don't know. One of those boy bands.
NSYNC.
NSYNC, okay. Yeah, even you know who from NSYNC is an Allen. So on this episode, we're covering the live-action Barbie film.
Hiya, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
You want to go for a ride?
Sure, Ken.
Jump in.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Way out of our comfort zone for two middle-aged
Yes.
that are bald and then they're 40s.
Very odd movie for us to cover so far of all the ones that we've covered. I seen it when it was in theaters.
Yeah, I saw it too.
I think there was a reason why everyone needed to see it. It just seemed like it was bigger than life. I mean, we've seen movies where G.I. Joe finally got a live action, Transformers finally got a live action, but there was something about this one that just with all the stars attached to it and the budget on it, something different about this one.
Yeah, and I have she's 6 now. She was 5 when Barbie came out in September of it was announced in September of 2009.
Oh, wow.
God, and began development in April 2014. And it did not premiere until July 9th, 2023 at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, and then was released in the United States on July 21st. Then, of course, it was out at the same time as Oppenheimer, so that was Barbieheimer, which went on to spawn a Full Moon offshoot that was... What was that one? Do you even remember that one?
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. But yes, Barbie is ingrained into the culture of not only America, but I feel like the world now. It's been one of the top toys since its inception.
About 65 years ago.
Every little girl, some little boys, some grown men, some grown women. Barbie is everywhere. And for me as a dad, I felt like it was important to take Finley because Barbie is what every father hopefully wants for their, not only their daughter, but their child to grow up and be happy, be successful, and just find peace in life. And that's what I took away from it the first time. I'm sitting watching Barbie and we're at the theater and I'm sobbing. You get to the end and Barbie's found herself and she's going to be happy and she's going to be successful. And as a dad, that's what I want for my children, especially the little girl that's sitting next to me.
Right.
But this time I got something different out of it. And I feel like that's what's important too. You can watch this, and the movie's, you said it last night, this movie is batshit crazy.
It really is. They throw everything at you. There's just song references that are taking a certain direction. There's the uprising of the Kens.
The Will Ferrell being the CEO of Barbie and having to bring his cabinet to Barbie Land. I mean, it's just everything, even to the end where... I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, I can't imagine most people have not seen this movie.
Let me go through the starring cast. You had Margot Robbie as the stereotypical Barbie.
Well, she's in Suicide Squad, The Wolf of Wall Street.
Then you had Ryan Gosling as Beach Ken, who was the main Ken even though there was like 100 Kens and 100 Barbies. You had Michael Cera, who played the character Alan, which is an actual doll that Mattel released that was supposed to be the best friend of Ken's. You had Will Ferrell, like you said, as Mattel CEO, Ellen Mirren as the narrator. You had the actress America Ferrera, as her name was Gloria. She was the mom to the actress Ariana Greenblatt, who played Sasha. And then the movie was directed by an actress / director, Greta Gerwig. Most horror fans would know her as the best friend in House of the Devil, where she gets shot in the head. Oh, you've seen that movie, I'm guessing.
Yes.
So that's the only thing I knew of her. And this was a $100 million budget, and on opening weekend made more than its money. 162 million its opening weekend. Worldwide gross was $1.4 billion.
Now, you left out some very important names in the movie.
Okay, go ahead, throw them at me, because there's so many.
Kate McKinnon, Saturday Night Live, played Weird Barbie.
Oh yeah, she was in the female cast of Ghostbusters.
And Rhea Perlman, who played the creator of Barbie. You know, most people our age will know her from Cheers.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break.
I feel like she was married to,
Danny DeVito.
you know, she was in Canadian Bacon and Matilda. I know her from Matilda. Remember Matilda, the little girl that had the special powers?
Made her teacher fly.
Yeah. She was great in Matilda. I love Matilda. It's just a fun kids movie. But yeah, just a great cast.
With a little sneak peek of that John Cena as a merman, or
He's starting to show up in some fun stuff. I keep seeing clips of this movie he's in where he sings and he's like Alice Cooper and then he's Billy Idol, and I need to just check the movie out. It looks like it would be one of them stupid fart joke movies, but I would watch it. And yeah, this movie went on to make a ton of money, the highest grossing film of 2023, the highest grossing film ever released by Warner Brothers, the 14th highest grossing film of all time at its release, named one of the top 10 films in 2023 by the National Board of Review and the American Film Institute, 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture nominations, winner of Best Original Song for What Was I Made For, won a Golden Globe, and Barbie was awarded a Golden Globe for cinematic and box office achievement. Just one of those movies that I feel like in 50 years, people will still be like, Barbie, one of the best. I feel like it's a comedy, but also a drama at the same time.
definitely both.
And for a parent, some stuff that kids won't get, but you get. So the film starts. It's Barbie. She lives in Barbie Land, which is ran by Barbies, all females. Kens are kind of like
The background almost. They interact with them, but that's it.
there's some commentary on American society, where in American society it's mostly ran by men, and women are kind of like Kens in Barbie Land. They're kind of like in the background, and Barbies can do whatever they want. And in American society and most of the civilized world, men run everything. So there's that commentary, but Barbie ends up having her feet go flat.
Yeah, she starts having thoughts too, of just random thoughts of death. Something's wrong and she's not sure why. So she has to go and find a weird Barbie to maybe get some answers to those questions.
And the weird Barbie's played by Kate McKinnon, and she's the weird Barbie because she was played with too hard.
Yeah, her hair was butchered. Was something burnt too?
Something like that. Yeah, her dog poops all over the floor. She's got some of the other Barbies that were discontinued live in her house. What was the one male Barbie? Earring Barbie.
Yeah, magic earring or Ken or something.
And then there was Sugar Daddy Ken.
Sugar Daddy Ken. But he was a sugar daddy to his dog or something.
But his dog's name was Sugar. He was Sugar's daddy. So Weird Barbie tells Barbie that she'll have to go to the real world and find the child or the person that's having these thoughts and fix it. So Barbie travels. Well, Ken surprises her and he goes with. And they travel by car and then rocket ship and then RV and then boat, rollerblade,
bicycle.
Yeah, they get to the real world where the FBI tells Mattel that they're there. I guess this has happened before.
Right.
And they hunt her down. Well, while they're hunting her down and she's finding herself, Ken finds out that the real world's a patriarchy and ran by men. But at first he thinks it's men on horses.
Yeah, he thinks that maybe men and horses rule.
So that all happens. They capture Barbie. She escapes. She finds America Ferrera and the daughter. And there's some other stuff happens in between. But then they have to travel back to Barbie because Ken's already traveled back there and he's taken it to Kingdom.
Yeah, I guess, and he takes over Barbie's house and he calls it his
Mojo Dojo Casa house.
Something like that.
No, this is no longer Barbie's dream house. This shall henceforth be known as Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House.
So Barbie and America Ferrera and her daughter show up, but they're like, You can't do this. And stop calling it your Mojo Dojo Casa house. You don't have to say it. Mojo, Dojo, Casa, and house are all the same thing.
But it's fun to say. Say it. Mojo, Dojo, Casa, house.
So the Kens have all brainwashed the Barbies. So now all the Barbies are their servants, get them beer and
rubbing their feet, with Alan having to rub the guy's feet.
But the weird Barbie and some of the other Barbies haven't been brainwashed.
Yeah, because they have nothing to do with the rest of the Barbies.
So it's Barbie's job, unbrainwash the brainwashed Barbies and get Barbie Land back.
Which is funny because the way they do it is Gloria, is America Ferrera's character. She has to tell every Barbie basically how to manipulate a Ken and then distract them and stuff. There's a little like secondary messaging because honestly, the Kens are like I said, they're just like a background piece in this world. The main beach Ken, he is tired of it, and that's why he kind of did what he did. Not saying it was right. I'm saying he had a reason for it. He felt like he had no purpose other than to just admire Barbie and Barbie wouldn't give him much attention back.
Well, and that's the social commentary part of that. And I feel like that's why some people didn't like this movie. They felt like it was a complete social commentary on how men treat women in our society. And for the most part, as a parent and as a dad of daughters, I see that. And as being a man, I see that. We've all maybe known somebody that's treated somebody like that or had a brother or sister. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it goes both ways, but I can see where a lot of people would be like, well, I don't like that. They're just bashing men the whole time. But it's fun. And if you watch it in a proper context and you have an open mind, I feel like you can learn from it. And that's what I got the second time watching it. I was like, oh, Ken is he's sad. He had no purpose. Without Barbie, he was nothing. And I feel like a lot of people in relationships feel that way nowadays. Without that other person, they're nothing. And it's important for everybody, whether you're male or female, to have an identity outside of your relationship. That relationship be with another person or with your job or with your family. Don't let those things define you. And that's what Barbie said, I feel like, at the end. Once everything's settled and the Barbies get it back, she says, you're Ken. You're not me, and it's not Barbie and Ken, it's Ken. Well, what about the beach? You're not a beach. That doesn't define you. Nothing defines you. You define yourself.
Is that where the line Ken Nuff comes into?
Yeah, well, because he sings the song, I'm Just Ken, and I love that song. I was singing it during the movie, and Finley's like, stop singing. But, I feel like male, female, whatever you identify as sexually, anybody can listen to that song. And if you're open-minded, be like, I am enough. Just me. Not my job, not my sexuality, not my relationships. I need to be enough for myself.
Right.
No matter what anybody else thinks. And that's what I feel like is important outside of that other story of empowerment for females. And that's a lot of what Barbie's about and always has been.
That's why they've come up with so many different Barbies with different careers, different looks, whether different ethnic looks. So just they're trying to be inclusive of all women.
And hopefully people can watch this and be inclusive of everybody. Like I said, no matter what your race is, your sexual preference, your sexual identity, where you're from, know that you're enough, just who you are. You don't have to ask permission from anybody else for happiness or your job or any. I dated a girl one time and I was at my job. I was great at my job, but she felt like, oh, why are you doing that? You could be so much more. And I was like, the letters on the end of my name at any job don't define who the hell I am. I'm so much more than that. And if that's what you're looking for in life, is to define yourself on the letters behind your name, good luck finding happiness. Be happy. And like this podcast, I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit. We don't make money on this. We do it for fun and enjoyment and to share our passion of the things we enjoy. If we made money on it someday, that would be great. We get to do cool stuff. We get cool experiences.
And we don't necessarily ever foresee, like a big thing. But yeah, like you said, it wouldn't be a horrible thing. But yeah, it's fun to talk about movies, that some new ones, some old ones, ones that we would never normally talk about in front of our horror friends necessarily. But
it's a long movie. I mean, it's 2 hours, close to 2 hours long.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours. Yeah.
A lot in there. But when you break it down, there's not a lot. There's a lot of filler, a lot of fun stuff, when like the Kens start fighting each other. But there's a lot of underlying messages in it.
Yeah, one big one that I picked out, I knew it was in there, was when the Kens take the Barbies to the beach and start singing Matchbox 20's Push. Now, if you were just listening to the lyrics of that and had no frame of reference, you think it's like a man keeping a woman down or maybe even physically abusing a woman, but it really is not. The whole message behind that, I had to look it up because I was pretty sure there was something else, was Rob Thomas, the lead singer of Matchbox 20, wrote about a girlfriend he had in high school who did that to him, would keep him down. And that's what he felt like when he wrote that song. So it was her. And I don't know if they knew that when they put that song in there.
I would imagine they knew that, but at the same time, like you said, it goes both ways. Most people are going to listen to that song and think it's about a guy keeping a girl down when he wrote it about someone, a female, keeping him down. But again, in context or out of context, it could be about anything in your life keeping you down, your job, your friends, your family, yourself. I mean, there's a lot of people that could do a lot of amazing things and they just don't step outside of their comfort zone and do it. And I know that's hard. It's taken me 46 years to get up on a stage and be comfortable. I have awful stage fright, but it's taken me a long time to be like, okay, when I get on stage and I'm not scared, that's when I need to worry.
Yeah.
Try to channel that fear into something positive and use it because it heightens your senses. And I mean, anybody that is a fan of the podcast and listens to the show, hell, send us a message. Send us a video or an audio message and tell us if you enjoy the show. Hell, we'll play them on the show.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So what do you think? What else you got on the Barbie movie?
I don't think Barbie ever knew that she was putting Ken down. It was always in the front of her mind because when she's with Gloria and Gloria's daughter, I think Sasha, they talk about Ken and she says Ken is superfluous, which I had to look that word up because I'm an idiot and I had no clue. It means unnecessary. So basically her whole thought point was that Kens were unnecessary. They would acknowledge them, but they're, like I said, they're background characters. That's all they were for.
Yeah, they're background characters, but they're also so important to the film.
Really, they are, yeah.
It's kind of like who's the character in Friday the 13th Part 3? What's his name? Shelley?
Shelley, yep.
Who's a background character, is annoying as shit, but he provides Jason with his mask, which becomes iconic throughout all of horror history and significant. I mean, that's Jason now. You don't think of Jason in Part 2. You think of Jason with his hockey mask that a background character provided. And in this movie, a background character provided kind of the push the new movie need. My favorite song is I'm Just Ken.
Doesn't seem to matter what I do, I'm always number 2.
I like the song they do at the dance too when they have girls' night.
Late 90s was when that song by Aqua, Barbie Girl, they couldn't use the original track to that. They had to have Nicki Minaj and what's her name, Taylor Swift's friend, Ice Spice, re-record it and do a version of it themselves to put it in the movie.
Why couldn't they use the original?
I don't know if it was just a copyright infringement or what, but they could use the lyrics.
How the hell, if you own the rights to that song, you let them use it.
Right.
Because it shoots up the charts again. I mean, because when Finley saw this movie, she's like, listen to the Barbie song. And that's the song I put on. That's the Barbie song. It's got some inappropriate lyrics in it. But as a child, you don't pick up on those.
That's why so many of these like name actors and actresses were in this movie. They actually, a lot of them went to Greta Gerwig to ask, can I have a part in this? Michael Cera, who played Alan, he emailed her. And when she saw his email, she said, hey, here's a link. Let's do a Zoom video. And they talked for hours. That's how he got his part, because he really wanted to be in the movie. I don't know if he knew what he wanted in it, but he wanted to be part of this because he knew what it was going to be. John Cena's management told him not to do this movie. They said it would be bad. And John goes, no, how could this be bad? It's like putting me out there more to a different crowd. I don't know why anybody would not want some part of this movie if they could do it.
I mean, this Barbie, since its inception in
59 is when the first Barbie came out.
1959. So 60 years, right?
64 years, yep.
Yeah, 64 years Barbie's been around.
Or 65.
Okay. 65 years Barbie's been around. It's been one of the most significant toys in American history, one of the top sellers every year. Any toy store you walk into, any Walmart, any Target, any mire, you go down an aisle and it starts with Barbie and sometimes it ends with Barbie. Every child, especially little girls, has pretty much owned a Barbie in their lifetime or some kind of Barbie. And that's how the movie starts. Up until Barbie was invented, little girls had baby dolls. And then Barbie came along and changed that. Barbie's been to space and a doctor and a vet and an athlete and the president.
So many different careers.
Movie after movie after movie. This happens to be the first live action, but you can turn on Netflix or Tubi or any of them and find a Barbie movie that's a cartoon. I mean, Barbie and the fairies, Barbie and the dolphins, Barbie and the Beatles, just everything.
Yeah, Mattel definitely wanted to push this, especially in the 90s. That was the prime time to push this as to every facet of entertainment. And just for some reason, it took that long to get a live action, which was a little odd.
Even if it did terrible at the box office, it's still going to be around forever. And have you seen some of the stuff that some of these people are in? And you're like, you think this is going to be bad? Yeah, I just don't see this ever being something that would be a bad idea.
No, definitely not. Speaking of other people wanting to be involved, Guns N' Roses guitarist Slash had a part of this too. He played the background guitar in the song I'm Just Ken. Yeah, that backing guitar, that's Slash from Guns N' Roses.
That's interesting. What else? I didn't have much trivia. I just watched the movie and enjoyed it.
There was a lot of just random trivia, but it wasn't anything very interesting. America Ferrera's real life husband played her husband in that movie. I forgot about him when I saw him the first time, and then he shows up at the end, but you don't really notice him. The one thing I thought was funny from a Barbie character, and they bleeped it too, was when towards the end, when the Kens show up again and the President Barbie like swears at him, calls them, I don't remember what she calls them, dipshits or something like that.
Yeah, they bleep it out. I can't remember what she calls me either, but yeah, they bleep it out.
The beach off scene, that was kind of funny.
What was this film rated? PG-13?
Yep, PG-13. Running at an hour, 54 minutes.
Which again is interesting because you would think a Barbie movie, they'd want to have it be rated PG, but
I think they had to have some adult content. Like the whole beach off scene was like, I'll beat you off.
Yeah, if you're gonna beach me off, you're gonna beach him off. And
I don't know if kids got it or not, but it was a little humor, I guess, not a little nod to adults.
And it's interesting that you find out that Ruth Handler, who was the creator of Barbie, and Barbie was named after her daughter, Barbara, who was the president of Mattel for 30 years, lost Mattel and the Barbie because she didn't pay her taxes.
I saw a little bit more about that, and she thought she was just in a few kind of state because at the time she had, I believe, breast cancer, and she thought her mind was just absent, like she was absent-minded of the business, and that might be why she missed something on her taxes or whatever. But yeah, I didn't really see much more. Did you see any of the history of how she came up with Barbie?
No, I didn't read too much into it. I did see that she was Woman of the Year by the Los Angeles Times, inducted in the Toy Industry Hall of Fame.
In a way, she sort of ripped it off from another company in a sort of way. She got the idea of Barbie from a toy company in West Germany called Bild Lilly Doll. She had purchased one in Europe. That whole line of that company ran from 1955 to 1964 when Mattel eventually, after lawsuits, bought their company from them. It was just a doll similar to Barbie, dark hair, bathing suit, or sometimes dress, very similar. That's where the ideal spawned. She came back and then created it in her way, the way she wanted, which the very first Barbie came out in a zebra print bathing suit, which had to be somewhat wild at the time.
Yeah, it was a one piece. It wasn't a two piece.
Yep, definitely one.
Yeah, interesting. A lot of history if you look into Barbie even outside the movie. But it's cool that they throw that in at the end. That they even got me for tax evasion. They don't hide that fact.
No, it's out there. And then it had to be pretty cheap for when they bought that company from the West Germans. They paid only $21,600 for the production rights to it. I think somebody got ripped off a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, especially nowadays. And was that after World War II?
Yeah, this is like 64. This is this is after the Korean War. This is going into the Vietnam War, pretty close. So the first 3 years, the doll was very popular. They sold more than 350,000 units. the first year, and then it took them 3 years to recover because they couldn't keep up with the production. They actually had to ship things off to Japan in the 60s to help manufacture the doll. So the Japanese were kind of putting out some of their versions of, like an Asian version of it too. And then Ken was introduced by the Mattel company in 61. He was named after Kenneth Handler, the son of Ruth. His image, though, was based off of Ruth's husband.
So she had a tall, good-looking husband? Yeah, because she wasn't very big. She even says that. She's like, I was short and a grandma.
These characters have full names. Like Barbie's full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts.
Oh, I knew her name was Barbie Roberts.
Okay, Millicent is her middle name.
All the cartoons that Finley watches, it's Barbie Roberts.
All right, well, I wouldn't know that. Ken's full name is Kenneth Sean Carson. Don't know where that came from. Skipper, who's Barbie's sister, is another character in there. She was introduced in 64, so it didn't take them long to start adding characters to this, because the Allen doll was also added in 64, but the Midge doll, who was Barbie's best friend, whose name was Margaret Midge Hadley Sherwood, because she marries Alan, she was actually introduced a year before in 63. But there's so much just random history I never even knew about Barbie. There's been so much too you've had the Barbie cars, like the Corvettes, the muscle cars, basically. You had the Barbie houses, which is the big thing. There's been over 20 dream houses since 1962 when that was first introduced, and it's evolved like crazy. The first house was just cardboard, basically.
I wonder is there a Barbie museum?
Oh, is there an actual Barbie museum? Wouldn't surprise me.
Hell, there's a Barbie expo? Collection of 1,000+ Barbie dolls dressed in bridal and designer wear or inspired by celebrities. That's in Canada. Phoenix Art Museum has a Barbie, a cultural icon exhibition. World of Barbie and at Barbie Dallas. New York City. Museum of Arts and Design presents Barbie the exhibition touring, the Children's Museum of Indianapolis, Barbie and Everything the Experience, New York Times, a Barbie at Barbie, the Museum of London through February 23rd, 2025. Yeah, just everywhere.
Those Barbie dream houses, now they're just huge. They come with an elevator. They come with a slide to a pool, several rooms, 3 stories tall. I was actually looking at it at Walmart the other day, but they run for $180. I don't know what the original one cost. I don't think it was probably more than $20. That's just insane.
Barbie's everywhere. So what do we think? We want to rate it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and give it a rating.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first. I'm still thinking this through.
I give Barbie 4.5 out of 5 weird Barbies with dogs shitting all over her house.
You said 4.5?
4.5 out of 5.
Wow.
I enjoy this film. Every time I watch this is the 3rd time I've seen it. I sat with Finley and watched it last night. I find something different in it every time. It still has humor to it. I still laugh. I still cry. I think this film's important. I feel like it's film in 50 years will still be important. I just really enjoy it. I know it's not my comfort zone or my wheelhouse because it's not horror. I think this is something I could watch every couple months.
I've been going back and forth. I wasn't even sure what my rating was going to be, because there was one point where I was thinking, there's just too much into this movie. Maybe it's just a 2 for me. Then I thought, oh my God, I just watched this again. I've watched it 3 times also. And it was like, there's so much more to it. So I give this a 3.5. Ken is enoughs.
Out of 5. So, a 9 and a 7. That averages out to 8. So that's a good rating.
Hey, do you know who else plays with dolls?
Who?
That'd be our podcast network, the PFPN, Princess Funtime Party Network. So let's hear from them.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
So now that we heard from our podcast network, it's time for the news of the times. So we're looking at July of 2023. Mine starts with some of the top TV shows, and it's weird because we're not talking network TV shows now. We're talking streaming TV shows.
Yeah, that's what's so weird about doing this for this, because I actually got the network side too, because I seen something that talked about both.
Yeah, I just got the streaming side, and the top movies or shows, Suits on Netflix had 492.8 million views.
Oh, wow.
The Witcher on Netflix, 194.8 million views. Prime Video's Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan at 172.6 million views. And again with Netflix, The Blacklist at 152.6 million views, which is weird. 22.4 million people watched The Blacklist, but they watched it 152.6 million times. I would imagine that's those people watching so many episodes of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they calculate that with Netflix.
Yeah, but with Suits, 20.4 million people watched 492.6 million episodes.
See, that's the crazy thing about this new generation is that network TV it's not dead, but it's just a secondary thing anymore. People are streaming Netflix, Prime. You've got your new ones that came out, Paramount and Peacock. So many, and they're putting out their content. Apple TV is putting out its content. And with new TV shows, it's like a lot to keep up with. They're what's keeping entertainment going.
And I feel like people were like, oh, I can get rid of cable and get streaming and save money. But I feel like if you got everything you wanted to get on streaming, you'd spend more than cable.
Absolutely.
So you got to kind of pick and choose what you want. And we don't watch a lot of Netflix, only when Stranger Things is on.
I go back and forth whether I'm going to get rid of my Netflix or not. So I did get a top 5 in the network TV. Really, there's very little like series or sitcoms. The number 1 was Sunday Night Football, followed by Monday Night Football. And then there was a TV show called Tracker that's still kind of going, about a guy who he gets hired to go look for people and he finds them. That basically is all it is. NCIS and Young Sheldon rounded up the top 5.
Now, is Tracker like a real reality-based show, or is it like a made-up show?
Made-up show.
For top movies, I had, of course, Barbie took over this list, but at the time Barbie came out, I had Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, The Sound of Freedom, Elemental, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
There was also a Mission Impossible movie, Dead Reckoning. I don't even remember anything from that.
I remember Elemental kind of had the same thing that Barbie had with people saying, oh, there's a character in the cartoon that's trans. And I'm like, what? It's a fucking movie about elements. Like the one kid's fire and the one kid's water and they're in love. And I was like, who has time to look this shit up and worry about it? Let's watch a fucking cartoon and enjoy your life.
Do you have much for world news?
Oh, I got world news. Saturday, July 1st, the Biden administration suffered a huge setback when the Supreme Court handed the president a defeat, blocking a plan to cancel $430 billion in student loan. The move was expected to benefit 43 million Americans and fill his campaign promise. On Friday, July 7th, a gunman from Texas who killed 23 people at a Walmart in 2019 was sentenced to 90 consecutive life sentences in federal prison.
Yeah, I remember that because working at Walmart, every time there's a shooting, they have us watch a video. That's the same video every time, but just to keep you updated on what to do in case of an active shooter.
It says after federal prosecutors promised they would not seek the death penalty, the 24-year-old pleaded guilty. The shooting is categorized as one of the deadliest mass shootings in the history of the United States. Do you know why he killed people?
No, I never heard a reason.
And then on July 12th, a bill that prevents abortions after 6 weeks has been passed by Iowa's legislator, which the Republicans control. The governor of Iowa, Kim Reynolds, also a Republican, is expected to sign the bill into law, which I believe she did. Abortions are illegal in Iowa. And then on Monday, July 17th, the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, appointed Edward Caban as the acting police chief in the city. Caban will be the first Hispanic police commissioner in the city in its 178-year history. Adams, a former captain in the police department, introduced Caban during a press conference. It's crazy to think that New York's such a melting pot that in 178 years there's never been a Hispanic police chief.
When they say police chief, is that over all the precincts, you think?
Yeah, it would be over all the precincts. So that's like, oh, that's a way up on the ladder, but it's still weird that if there's ever been an African American police chief. I would hope so.
Yeah.
It seems like, and I don't know the numbers, but from what I've seen in New York, it seems like they have some diversity on their police force. What'd you have? You have any news?
I had a few things. July 23rd, Greece mounts its biggest evacuation. They moved 19,000 tourists and residents out of the path of a wildfire on the island of Rhodes. It was like one of the country's hottest Julys in 50 years. There was wildfires in Algeria also, which on the 24th, the day after, that killed 34 people amid temperatures of 48 degrees Celsius. Now, when we hear that, we don't really calculate that automatically, but that's 118 degrees Fahrenheit.
Jesus.
So yeah, that's pretty hot.
Pretty damn hot.
Also on the 24th of July, Justice Department sued Texas over a floating barrier that was installed in the Rio Grande, the one where it was blocking migrants from coming in. They had to remove it. Then there was a dengue fever, which is caused by mosquito outbreak in Bangladesh. They had heavy monsoons this last year, and it claimed more than 170 lives, with 33,000 people being hospitalized, according to their local health officials there. Some of the symptoms that you would get from the dengue fever is just a high fever, a rash, muscle and joint pain. Some severe cases, you would get some serious bleeding and shock, which that could be life-threatening. That's pretty much all I was going to talk about.
I don't want none of that fever or monsoons or nothing. What was it called? The
dengue?
Dengue fever.
DENGUE.
I don't want no dengue fever. No. Music news. I got Last Night by country singer Morgan Wallen is the year's longest running #1 song on the Hot 100, having spent 16 weeks at the top spot. And I know some people love Morgan Wallen, but the problem I have with him is every time I hear a song, like you'll go on TikTok or you'll go on Instagram or whatever, and you'll have random people singing songs. You ever come across that? Like, oh, there's this guy sits down and plays a guitar. I'm like, oh, that was a really good song. I like it. And I'm like, oh, I wonder who sings it. And then I go back and it's Morgan Wallen. And I'm like, every time, I like the person that's singing it on the internet more than when Morgan Wallen sings it. And I hear he's kind of a douche canoe. Like he'll just like cancel shows like after shows have started because he's drunk.
Oh, wow.
You know, so I'm like, oh, whatever.
I'd never even heard of him until I was looking into that.
And then it's topped by Flowers by Miley Cyrus, which is the longest running #1 by a female artist. Which was at 8 weeks. And then Paint the Town Red by Doja Cat became the first rap song to top the Hot 100 in over a year. I don't know Doja Cat. I hope Doja Cat don't get the dengue fever, whatever it is.
Dengue fever.
Dengue fever.
My dojo, mojo,
Casa House, yeah. So yeah, if you get the dengue fever while listening to Doja Cat, while hanging out with Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House, then you're probably going to be fucked.
You're screwed. You see, there was another song that was in the top ones was an actual remake of a 1990s song, I believe, Fast Car, sung by Luke Combs. I'm trying to think who was it that originally sang it.
Tracy Chapman. And I love the original song, and their Luke Combs has grown on me.
You get a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere.
A little bit. No, it's a great song. And when I don't know if you ever saw, but I think it was at one of the awards that Luke Combs and Tracy Chapman did a duet where they sang the song. And
oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's just a beautiful rendition. And it's a white male and an African-American female singing together, and just people in the audience were enjoying it, and just what I feel like humanity should be about. Just two people that it doesn't matter their race or their sexuality, just coming together and enjoying a song. I digress.
There was a #1 dance song too, was I'm Good, which was a song by Blue originally. Was it Blue?
Mm-hmm.
But this one version was done by David Guetta and Bebe Rexha.
I've heard of that person.
I mean, I've heard the song, but I didn't know who they were.
You got any news for sports?
Well, yeah. One last thing for music. There was just a side note. Taylor Swift's concert in Seattle shakes the ground so hard it registers an equivalent to a magnitude of a 2.3 earthquake.
Swifties know how to party, huh?
At that year, it did it several times too in different locations.
In different locations? Yeah, them Swifties know how to party, huh?
Yeah, Swifties.
Huh, that's what they are, right?
Well, yeah, basically.
Is Tony a Swiftie?
Oh, Tony from the Bread, Tony
Yeah.
with Ash and Abe? Yeah, I believe he probably is.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was like, if you're a female, you're a Swiftie, and if you're male, you're a Swiftan, or I don't know. They're all just Swifties. Sports news?
There's a few things I had. I'll let you go over some of, you usually have scores and stuff. LeBron James goes from his number 6 jersey back to his number 3 jersey in honor of Bill Russell. Bill Russell wore the number 6. So he got away from that. So
because Bill Russell,
a basketball player, played for the Celtics,
passed away last year, I believe. I mean, the only thing that I had sports news, Lionel Messi makes his North American debut for Major League Soccer club Inter Miami, and they enters during the final minutes of the game, helps score a goal, and Miami won the game. But I mean, Messi is just one of the top soccer players of all time, especially our time. The other news I had was the World Series of Poker main event final table is set with a $12 million purse, and the winners to be crowned live on Poker Go. Jesus.
On the 24th of LeBron James' son, Bronny James, he suffered a cardiac arrest while at the USC basketball practice. Now he's been drafted to the NBA.
On the Lakers.
We all know there's a reason. He got drafted by his daddy.
Not Sugar Daddy either.
Not Sugar Daddy, thank God.
What do you got for top toys?
So for some top toys, Squishmallows.
Yep.
That was one of the big things, which are just stuffed toys with a soft fiber or something in them that keeps them that way. They don't really, as far as I know, they don't go flat. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys was another thing, making a comeback. Probably first introduced in the late 80s. Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie toys. Did your kid ever get into that?
I mean, we watched it, but I don't know that I've ever seen the movie. Chase is on the case.
I don't know. I've never seen anything.
The bad guys were cats.
You had Pokemon toys. Pokemon toys every freaking where. You have Pokemon cards. You have Pokemon new versions of the game. But the toys were making a comeback. And then the last thing was something called Magic Mixies. You put something in a bottle, like a liquid or something, shake it up, and you would get a doll somehow.
The stuff would dissolve and you'd get the doll. Also some Little Tykes Cozy Coupe was a car for the little kids. And then Monster Jam, the little Monster Jam Hot Wheels cars, which I have a friend, her son loves those. Those are pretty popular right now. And they're kind of cool. I mean, they got like Gravedigger and that one that's got like the paw that looks like a dog. I was like, oh, those are kind of cool. And they're relatively inexpensive, under $5, I think, for one. So I was like, oh, that's cool. No mention of Barbie, but I don't think it matters.
I think we've already talked enough. There was a crap ton of deaths that day, but it was just random people who I had no clue in the world who they were. They were all in their 80s and 90s. Two of the ones that I found more interesting was Mike Ivey, American baseball player. He played for the San Diego Padres, San Francisco Giants, and Detroit Tigers. He died at 70 last year on the 21st.
Never heard of him.
That was the only thing I could find that was even close, except for this one. Tony Bennett, American singer, songs like I Left My Heart in San Francisco, Rags to Riches, and Because of You, dies at 96 years old from Alzheimer's disease.
That's sad. Most people, well, maybe not younger people, but a lot of people know who Tony Bennett is, and just an icon of American music. And
he was doing stuff with the new generation. Like, I don't know if it was Usher or somebody like that he collaborated with.
I feel like maybe Snoop Dogg or somebody like that. Yeah, he collabed with.
Okay, so probably one of the big ones was, or some of the big ones was, he collaborated with Amy Winehouse, with Lady Gaga, Stevie Wonder, of course, the legends like Frank Sinatra, Elvis Costello, Paul McCartney, Sting, so some huge names, Billy Joel.
Interesting. What do you think? Ready for the joke?
Yes, let's hear it.
You sure?
I've got nothing, so...
You got nothing?
I don't have a joke. I wanted to hear what you were going to say.
Why did Barbie and Ken never have kids?
Why is that?
Because Ken came in a different box. That's from a fan of the show. His name's Chris. He lives here in Galesburg, Illinois, and he was like, "What are you guys doing next episode on the Wrong Podcast Diet?" And I said, "Barbie." He's like, "Oh," and he shared that joke, and I was like, "You mind if I use it?" No, go ahead.
Nice, thanks, Chris.
I found some other ones, but I was like, "Oh, that's pretty fun," and
it is funny.
Fart humor like we like to close out the show with. I don't know. What do you think? Should people go check out Barbie?
Yeah, definitely. It's a big part of Americana right now, I believe.
It always has been. And I'm not sure what we're doing next. I mean, I know it's on the list, but I haven't really looked at the list lately, so I think they should just...
Oh, I believe it might be a cult classic from 1979. All I think of is these clicking bottles every time I think of it, but maybe it'd be something different.
It might be, you never know. I guess you'll have to come back and find out.
And as they say in old Mexico, hasta la próxima vez.
The fuck does that mean?
You'll find out.
I'm gonna have to look it up now.
That marks the end of our broadcast day here at The Wrong Podcast Died. Our transmission is powered by a frequency of 800 watts. We will resume our usual programming in 2 weeks. Until then, we bid you good night.